I'm not gonna lie, I do listen to Sabrina Carpenter too. As always, make sure to follow my social media accounts at It's Lielers on Instagram, Threads, and X, and subscribe to my YouTube channel at It's Lielers. And of course, do not forget to follow me on TikTok at Lielers. Lielers on TikTok. I'm actually very active right now. If you guys have not checked out my TikTok account, I've been posting a shit ton of videos, and I blame Ghost. Of course, how did I forget last week that Ghost's new film, Right Here, Right Now, has officially premiered. There's only a couple of days left for people to watch it, but here in Houston specifically, you have until Thursday to watch the film. I don't know about everywhere else. Ghost has been posting on social media saying like, here's your last chance to go check out the film. So I went ahead and watched it like 3 times already. I came back not too long ago from watching the movie. So yes, this episode is actually gonna kick off with my thoughts, and it's gonna be the spoiler version of Right Here, Right Now. So if you guys have not checked it out, you are more than welcome to not listen to this episode, go watch it, and then come back. So we're going to go ahead and kick it off with that, and then later on throughout this episode, we're going to get you covered with the things that has been happening on movies, television, music, gaming, wrestling, especially with Uncle Howdy. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get this episode started! Kind of sad that there's no Rotten Tomato score for this movie right now, but audience score, obviously it's at a solid 99%. And as a Ghost fan, I will give you guys a spoiler-free thought. It is okay if you're not a Ghost fan, because this film has you covered, and that includes the lore, the music. You don't have to worry about, singing along. I've been watching this movie for 3 times in a row. Trust me, nobody has been singing their lungs out. So you can just sit there and enjoy the music. And I do want to take a minute and applaud Tobias Forge, because oh my god. I don't think anyone has ever done this type of film where it's a concert, but also it's explaining the lore that they have been releasing, like clips here and there on YouTube. I know Black Bill Brides, for example, they release, a movie of them during performance of their whole album, Wretched and Divine. Definitely go check it out. But I'm glad that, even though I already know the lore, it was addressing most of the rumors that people were spreading. And I feel like, either Tobias or whoever was like, okay, we really need to address this because everybody's expecting the death of Copia. So yeah, here comes your spoiler warning in 3, 2, 1. So yeah, basically everybody's wondering, okay, is this it? So ever since they announced the tour, everybody couldn't help but to notice that the venues were exposed, except for the last 2 shows that were going to be held at the Kia Forum in Los Angeles. So when Ghost actually came here in Houston, they were at the Cynthia Woods Mitchell Pavilion, which is open. And almost every stop that they had, it was, either an amphitheater or just an open venue. So whenever it was time to get to the Kia Forum, everybody was like, wait a second, the Kia Forum is like closed. So what's gonna happen? So people were assuming, again, the death of Copia. And that's how the film starts. It's covering you from the beginning towards the end, and this is just only regarding Papa, and then like bits and pieces of the previous Papa Emeritus 1, 2, and 3. In other words, if you watch this film, you become a Ghost fan regardless. You already know the history, you're gonna be exposed to the music, so there's that. I did forget to mention that, as soon as the movie starts, there is a 4.5 minute gap of just an introduction. And basically they do ask people not to record, except apparently everybody was doing it. I ended up doing it on the 3rd time because where I went, there was only like 2, 4 plus me, making it 5 people in the damn auditorium. So I was like, fuck it, why not? Nobody was behind me anyway, so I'm like, might as well just fucking record since people are over there posting the spoilers on freaking TikTok. So I went ahead and did it. But they do ask in the beginning not to record, for the same reason that they didn't want spoilers to be going around, especially in the first day of the release date, which was on Thursday, June 20th. I went to go watch it, and people again weren't on their phones. But then again, it was a little bit of a bummer because no one was singing. But then again, there are people where they were like, don't sing, we're just trying to enjoy the film, this and that. And I'm like, I guess. But anywho, they do ask, oh, pull out your phone, scan this QR code, and then with that QR code, it takes you to Ghost's story on Instagram where you can actually post pictures of your outfit. And I was like, I want to do it, but I'm like, meh, it's whatever. But out of all the 3 times that I've been going, I'm obviously wearing a Ghost shirt. I'm obviously wearing one right now as I'm recording this episode because I just went to go watch it. But yeah, after that, once the thing is over, then the movie starts, and then that's the introduction of what I was talking to you about the lore. But here is the set list in case if you guys were not taking notes and it's like, okay, what's gonna be the song list? So it's the same as the Re-Imperator if you guys did win this past year. It kicks off with Imperium, then we have Kaiserion, Rats, Faith, Spillways, Sarais, Absolution, Ritual, Call Me Little Sunshine, Conclave con Dio, Watcher in the Sky. If you have Ghost, that's gonna be the one where it was a surprise for people in LA, and that one is more like a violin soft version of the original. And then we also have Dominion. 20s was another one, the surprise song. And everybody was talking about it. I was over here like, I need to watch it already. So I was happy to see it on the film. After that was Year Zero. And then the little intermission with Spooksonath. He is after that. Maisama, Mariana Cross, Mummy Dust, Respite on the Spitalfields, and then the encore 3 songs, which were Kiss the Go-Go, Dance Macabre, and Square Hammer. I'm not gonna say it's a gnarly set list, but it's a long one. So when I was watching the film, it felt like I was there for 3 hours, and that includes the movie trailer. So it is a good set list. So if you think about it, it feels like you're actually at the concert, and you get the bonus of what happens supposedly behind the scenes. So we'll get into that right now. Might as well get that started. For those that have been Ghost fans, you obviously know we were gonna get comedic scenes, and I think it started as soon as Sarai started. I want to say because he's going back there getting an outfit change to where he's getting his bat wings on. And then he's over there trying to tell C-Store Imperator, who's also backstage, is like, oh yeah, we're off to a good start. But apparently C-Store is having a hard time hearing him. And she's like, what? And then he's like, isn't this good? I'm like, damn, okay, Papa. He's having a moment. I'm not going to get into details with all the comedic stuff. I am posting the clips on my TikTok account. That's why y'all need to go follow it. So far, I posted part 1, and I think my favorite ones are the outfit changes, especially the one with like the kawaii sound in the background. It's so hilarious, but definitely go check it out. I do wanted to cover the parts that were in between the songs. Like, for example, one of the things that kind of moved me was during the performance of If You Have Ghosts. I was not expecting to cry. And I think everybody was, thinking like, oh, we're going to cry because maybe Copia's going to die, this, and that. Whenever the performance was happening in between the song, Papa for Copia, or Cardi, how they're calling him in the movie, he gave us a speech like to all the fans. It's also available on my TikTok, the audio itself. And I had one person in particular that did commented and told me that whenever she was watching it, she was chronically ill, and whenever she got to listen or got to watch the film, she felt so much better. And when you think about it, it's like you're getting an escape. A lot of people do drugs to forget about their problems, and I'm not talking shit and all of that, but I just want to say that I guess in this case, like for me, for example, music is my drug. I listen to music to escape the issues that I'm going through. For example, like I'm watching this film, and part of me was like, man, I wish things were different. I wish I wasn't going through what I'm going through. And again, just hope for the best. And I feel like that's how it usually tends to be. 1 year you're probably living the best life, and then next year, boom, you're all miserable. But then all of a sudden, the next following year, you're happy. And I'm like, what the fuck? And that's exactly what Papa said. It's a fucking roller coaster. So I'm really happy that he actually gave us that speech, because again, out of all those people that were in LA, who knows what shit they were going through. And then imagine the fans that were watching the film alongside with me. I'm like, I cried. I know the second time I went to go watch it, like, there was a person to of my left that I can hear her crying, and I was like, oh my god, like, I wanted to hug her, but obviously she's not next to me. But yeah, I'm like, damn, we're all going through it. And again, thanks to Ghost, we're pushing forward. And I'm not just crediting Ghost. I listen to so much music out there that I credit everybody at this point, so there's that. But yeah, that was one thing I wanted to talk about in this movie. And then I also want to take a minute and talk about Year Zero, because holy shit, that performance is by far my favorite performance out of all the songs that were in that film. Why? Because not only the effects, obviously, of the flashing red lights making it look like, I don't know, pixelated or something, but I couldn't help but to notice that on the part where the flame bursts out during the chorus, it gives like a vibration sensation, and it made me feel like I was at the concert once again. Like, I remember just being there and actually feeling the heat. I was like, oh my god, can I fucking please see Ghost again? Because wow, that was amazing. The first time I went to go see Ghost, I don't remember seeing flames. I don't. But it makes sense for me to see flames last year because we were in an outdoor venue. The more I talk about it, the more I just want to go watch the film again. It's either that or I get to see them live. Whichever one comes first. Now, the next song or intermission is going to be, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. It's either Miasma or Miasma. I don't even know. But during that intermission, you actually get to hear the moral of the story in this film. And there is a reason why it's called Right Here, Right Now. It's not because of Squarehammer. Obviously, we hear it in the chorus. But basically, the moral of the story is that Sistor, Imperator, is trying to get Cardi. I'm struggling with the names because of the way how they're saying it in the film and the way how we usually tend to call him. But it turns out that Cardi is having trouble trying to stay in the moment. And I think I can relate. But that's why Sistor is trying to get him to snap out of it and stop worrying about what's going to be coming up in the future. Because, of course, everybody's expecting, including himself, that he's going to either get killed off and is probably going to be laying on a pixel glass coffin for everybody to look at him. And he doesn't want that. In a way, he just wants to live forever or, still continue to be Papa Emeritus IV for such a long time, because if you guys do not know, he's the only Papa that actually has 2 albums under his reign, even though the first one he's as Cardinal Copia, and then the second one he is Papa Emeritus IV. So that's the whole dilemma that he's going through, and Sister just wants him to again live in the moment, embrace it, and enjoy the fact that he is performing to so many people. Of course, that tour, I don't even know how many cities. It was a lot. But as fans, I feel like that's why they're doing this whole movie plot, for us to put ourselves in the shoes of Cardi. And again, for us that are struggling to live in the moment, or again, try to appreciate what's happening in front of us instead of worrying what's been happening either in the past or in the future. It's something to take accountable for ourselves, because sometimes we don't take advantage of the opportunities that land in front of us. So, taking risk and not assuming the worst is probably one of them. And I think that's what Cardi was struggling with. He's assuming that he's going to die soon. And instead, again, enjoying the whole thing, he's over there trying to convince, Sistor, like, hey, we can still keep doing this whole shebang for a really long time, maybe forever. And I'm like, I can't take him serious, but I know what he's trying to say. And Sistor's over there trying to tell him also that there is order in the clergy, the ministry, however they want to call it, and there's always a succession line. So obviously Papa Neil's also there, still formed as Ghost, and he still hints about another guy. I forgot to mention that whenever he mentions the other guy, this was during the moment where Cardi was making his way on the other side of the arena, and this was during the intermission of Watcher in the Sky leading up to If You Have Ghosts. And so that's where Papa Neil tells Cardi that, he released 3 songs. And Cardi is like, I don't have time for that. But that's when Papa Neil's like, oh no, it's just, something borrowed for the new guy. And you could tell Cardi he was like not up for it. So yeah, and that's why C-Store's over there trying to tell him like, okay, stop assuming the worst. And that was the thing also for us, because we were assuming he was gonna die. And I'm saying was for a reason. If you're listening to this, I think Ghost fans have been traumatized because of all the previous Papa Emeritus. They were getting killed off, and people are like, oh my god, it's gonna be the same fate for Copia. But what's different with Copia was because he has a different personality. He's more fun. They give him like a kid persona, even though he's not really a kid, but he's like a kid at heart. And, he's joking around. We can't take him serious. And that's what we love about him. Compared to the other Papa Emeritus, like, for example, the first one, he was more, like, serious. But, a little bit, like, the second one, he was a man whore. They call him Pitbull and whatnot. And then the third one was, like, love is for all, basically. So, Copia was way different than that. I mean, yeah, he'll fool around here and there, especially whenever he was messing with the microphone stand, or like whenever we watch him on Mummy Does, where he looks like he's trying to get somebody doggy style. Yeah, so, but he keeps it to a minimum. He's mostly goofy. And so everybody was in fear that they're going to be losing the favorite Papa Emeritus. So I'm glad that it wasn't the case. I'll get into that in a bit. But yeah, that was the moral of the story. Live in the moment. Don't be thinking about what could possibly happen. Don't be trying to fix the past. The past already happened. Shit happens for a reason, whether if it's a learning lesson or for something for you to forget. And in the future, it is based on us in the present for us to change what we could be, what we can become. And yeah, it's a big message by Tobias Forge, not from me. But anywho, let's go ahead and move it along. I want to also talk about the Mary on a Cross animation. I did mention this when we were trying to review the Right Here Right Now trailer. I was like, wait a second, what is this animation? Are we finally going to be able to see what happened after Kiss the Go-Goat scene? So yeah, if you guys have not done so, definitely go check out the music video and y'all will see what I'm trying to refer to on here. So yeah, it is basing it off those moments after that music video. And the animation was screaming Scooby-Doo. I swear to God, like the running, everything. And I'm like, Hanna-Barbera, you were involved or what? So after that, like, we get to see C-Store was pissed. And, Papa Neil was trying to chase after her and apologize over the fact that, he kissed the fan. And she had to see it. Keep in mind, they also do talk about that at this time, C-Store was pregnant with Cardi inside of her. So there's that. But yeah, we don't see any of the live moments on there, but it makes sense because there is a music video on YouTube where Ghost performed Mary on a Cross live back in Tampa. So it's like, we'll give it a break. We'll insert the animation, which was probably the smartest thing for sure. Now, the cemetery scene. I swear to God, that was probably the most romantic shit I have ever seen. C-Store and Papa Neil were over there in a coffin kissing, and in that coffin was in the middle of a pentagram. Still satanic, but again, romantic. I felt like it was a tragic moment, especially afterwards when Papa is waking up and he sees that C-Store is no longer there. She left him. And obviously we see it in the beginning of the lore. She just comes back out of nowhere. And, she's trying to give Cardinal Copia a chance. But later on, she didn't tell Papa Neil or Cardi that, hey, they're both related for a reason. But after C-Store left him, it looks like she left him at the Bates Motel. It was like so many back in the day horror references. Why? Because not only we see the Bates Motel, like, in the house and everything, there's also like a tour guide car passing by the motel. And I only looked at Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers. I could not make out the other two characters that were in there. So you could tell that Tobias is like a huge fan of back in the day horror movies. Honestly, I loved the scene, the animation and everything. Kind of made me cry. Part of me was like, C-Store, forgive him. But at the same time, I'm like, nah, bitch, you know your worth. Never settle for less. But yeah, no, it was pretty sad. And at the end of the day, they still made up. I mean, you can see the lore on the YouTube channel. But it wasn't to the point where Cardi had a mom and a dad. And that was something emotional too that I will mention right now. Cardi did tell Papa Neil dad, you know. At first in the beginning it was like old man, whatever. But now it was like dad, and I'm like, oh. And then C-Store was like, congratulations, you're finally a father. After he was dead, you know, because his spirit's over there roaming around. So again, more comedic on the film. I'm slowly finishing it up, so because I'm already going to be talking about what happened during Square Hammer. So while the ghouls are over there, you know, starting it up, Papa's over there finally embracing the moment and tells, you know, C-Store and Papa Neil, like, okay, I finally know what you mean. It's like, I'm here right now, you know, whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's cute and all. And so now he's gonna go wrap up the show. While he's over there doing that, I could not help but to notice, I mentioned it on a TikTok video and people are already attacking me because they heard it wrong. But I'm like, no, I know what I heard. I could not help but to notice that I think Papa finally acknowledged one of the names that the fans gave to the ghouls. So at the start, as soon as Square Hammer was starting, Papa says either I prepped or I braced. I keep hearing it wrong. I can't tell yet. But it's one of those two words. But he's like, I blanked them up for you, Soto. Soto is one of the guitarist's names, and I mentioned it in the comment, and people were like, I knew I heard that, you know, this and that. But then there's some people saying like, oh no, he probably says so, and I'm like, I don't think so. I heard Soto. So unofficially, Ghost has, you know, Papa Emeritus and the Nameless Ghouls. And on an interview, you know, it was actually Tobias, but dressed as a ghoul. He mentioned that, you know, they're giving the fans the liberty to name the members, you know, kind of give them nicknames and so forth. And so far, like the current members, they have like the drummer, I think is Mountain. I mentioned Soto, Rain, Phantom, Aurora. I think the other one was Cyrus. I can't remember the other one. There's another one in there and it's like I can't click it. I don't know if it's Sunshine, whoever, but there was a Goulet over there. And so when I heard Soto, I'm like, okay, that's one of the names I've heard for the most. And also, fun fact, before I get ahead of myself, on the credits they actually do name the members of the band. Like they say, oh, Ghoul, either guitarist, Ghoul, guitarist, Goulet, keyboard, you know, whatever, and they actually have the band members' name. And I've been hearing like supposedly the identities of these members on TikTok, and yeah, these people fucking nailed it because that's actually the names that I saw. And I'm like, congrats. These are diehard Ghost fans, by the way, so they do their research. I mean, they got their stocking lights, caps, whatever on, and they're like, we're gonna figure out who these members are. And that's the same way how it was with the Slipknot drummer. So there's that. But anywho, yeah, Square Hammer happened. You know, it was still amazing. They wrapped it up. And then that's where the concert ended. And the film was also slowly approaching to the end. Papa says his goodbye. You know, he does his little pose that Papa Neil suggested. Don't forget to do the pose, you know. And after that, you know, Papa's over there flying off on the hot air balloon that's actually on the Right Here Right Now poster. And he's over there, you know, drifting off the earth. But for some reason, he could still see C-Store. She's waving him goodbye. And all of a sudden, we get a glimpse of what happened the moment C-Store and Papa Neil met. You know, they kissed. She got pregnant. She had babies. Plural. It looked like she had twins. And after that, like before you realize it, all you hear is this loud ass thud. Then on the next scene, we see Papa on the floor laying down like a freaking toy. And I'm like, I can't take this man serious. Like, I'm over here in shock at first. And I just see him like on the floor like nothing. And the ghouls and the other two people, Ashley and Kevin. Well, Kevin, they call him Jesus too. They're over there trying to help him up. And as he's getting up, they see C-Store on the floor. Like, you know, they're putting the crutches on her and they're trying to revive her, but she passed away. And then the next scene is basically C-Store on the crutches, but Papa's over there putting a blanket on her. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she's dead. Like, I'm over here crying. and feeling for Copia, and then all of a sudden all you hear is and I'm like, really? Like, and I say that because it was him trying to do a dramatic cry, and I'm like, acting 10 out of 10. And then I'm like, okay, he did the cry, I'm gonna cry a little bit, and then all of a sudden freaking Cardi like, he keeps doing it, and I'm like, please stop. Like, I'm trying to feel for you, but again, I cannot fucking take you serious. Like, come on, man. After that, we get Saltarian coming in and giving Cardi a letter from Sister Imperator, and she's over there telling him how she's sorry that she didn't tell him about her condition, but then tells him, like, hey, you're now gonna be in charge of the ministry, the clergy, whatever, and henceforth he will be known as Frater Imperator. I'm seeing this on Ghost Wiki, by the way. I heard Brother Imperator. That's what I think most of us did hear correctly. And after that, boom, movie's over. And that's when we hear the new song, The Future is a Foreign Land, which we'll get to that in a bit. But I want to talk about the end credits. So on the end credits, we get to see Cardi, now Brother Imperator, taking over the clergy, the ministry, whatever. I always say that because there's two names. And alongside with him is, you know, Sistor and Papa Neil in ghost forms, along with the other two twins that we got to see when, you know, Copia was cardinal at the time. And they're all in ghost form. And I have a theory on that. It's still weird. And, you know, he's joking around and whatnot. And they're waiting for the new Papa. And when we see the shadow, supposedly the video cuts off. And that's it. We don't know who the next Papa's gonna look like. And my theory is like, wait a second. If we have Sisto and Papa Neil in ghost form, how come we don't have the other brothers in ghost forms? I would love to see that happening, by the way. Like, I have editing skills, Tobias. Hire me and we can make it happen. You know, I can already imagine Cardinal Copia, Cardi, you know, Brother Imperator, whatever. I could see him, you know, having like this massive shit talk between his brothers. Like, I want to see it. I think everybody does. And anywho, the other thing is that because of the whole glimpse vision that we saw with Sistor, we're thinking like maybe the next Papa Emeritus 5, maybe. He's going to be looking obviously just like Tobias, obviously, because it's the twin. But what could the theme be when it comes to these outfits? What do I mean? Okay, so if you look at, for example, Papa Emeritus the First, his theme was more like gray, black, and red. And then we see Secondo, you know, Papa Emeritus the Second. His is more gray and black. That's it. Oh, and white. That's pretty much his color palette. And then when we see Papa Emeritus the Third, you know, Terzo, his was black and gold and then white. And then, you know, with Papa Emeritus the Fourth, you know, with Cardi, it's blue, black, blue, and white. That was the color palette. Could Papa Emeritus the Fifth have a whole different color palette? Maybe purple, maybe, oh god, if it's green. Well, Secondo also had green for a bit, but it mostly became just black, gray, and white. But that's now my theory, and I'm probably going to put this on the question section. If you're listening on YouTube, let me know in the comments. What color palette do you think Papa Emeritus the Fifth is going to bring in his, you know, Antichrist outfit, whatever you want to call it, when he does come in and take over? I don't know when exactly we're going to see the reveal of the official Papa Emeritus the Fifth. I'm assuming sometime next year. But the thing is that it is guaranteed that once we get the reveal, we will also have a new album as well. So I cannot wait. I'm excited. But I'm also wanting to see how this storyline is going to continue. Again, I do want to see Cardi going up against his twin brother, which again, they're older. They haven't seen each other for so long. I don't think he even knew he had a twin brother. And also, where has this twin brother been this whole time? So yeah, there's so much in this lore that I think a lot of Ghost fans are excited about. And because they did make what is a popcorn cinematic, whatever, I feel like we are going to be getting more Ghost films, whether if it's another concert film or maybe just the lore itself in general. It is a really good storytelling. Like, it is something that it has not been done before, as I mentioned earlier, but it's very entertaining. And again, it's not just the music, it's the story as well, and it's all combined, and I'm excited. Now, I mentioned the new song, the song that supposedly Papa Neil said he has written. It was 3 songs: Mary on the Cross, Kiss the Go-Go, and Now the Future is a Foreign Land. When I got to listen to this song, holy shit. I was like, let me talk about it before I even dive into the rest of the stuff in pop culture. The song is obviously giving you guys the same vibe as, the other 2 songs, more like a 1980s, I guess. Because on the lyrics, it does say it's 1984. So I don't know if that's when he wrote it. But I'm assuming Papa Neil wrote this after, C-Store left. And it's kind of like saying, hey, I'm writing this for you. Because, for example, like there's this part on here that says 55 years from now, I know it sounds insane, the dark fascist regime might be gone. Oh, if you by then have forgiven me. I'm like, aww. And I'm pretty sure she forgave him because, come on the film, they're so adorable. I really do love this song. Why? Well, not only the title, it gives me like motivation. The bridge is probably my favorite part out of this whole song, and it's not even the chorus. Can you believe that? The bridge literally says, with these words at hand, the future's a foreign land. So let us pray for more in 2024. And then it later says, we could grow together. We could love one another. And there will from then be peace forevermore. Say what you will. This song can be interpreted in so many levels. The way how I see it is, again, the future is very uncertain. That's why he calls it a foreign land. You don't know what could happen. But for right now, especially on the bridge where it says we could love one another, you can talk to this individually or you can talk to this to somebody else. But the way how I see it could be individually, where you can love your own self and hopefully you can grow to be better. And that way, when the future does come, it doesn't look so foreign afterwards. You get a clear vision of what it could potentially be, as long as you put the effort to it, of course. It's my thoughts, of course. Again, everybody has different opinions of it. So yeah, definitely go check out the song. It is out. They did play it on the end credits. And again, the 3rd time I stayed there, I was singing at the top of my lungs because everybody left at that time. And I'm like, hell yeah, I got the auditorium finally by myself. Let me sing this song because it's so good. But yeah, I loved it. It was definitely something for people to go check out. Unfortunately, this movie is going to be like out of the theaters by next week for sure. Supposedly, rumor has it was on Reddit. I don't even know if this is true or not. Supposedly, the film is going to be out on Disney Plus. Again, I don't know. I am definitely excited if it does come out, like either in digital, Blu-ray, whatever. So I can rewatch it over and over again. It's really entertaining. I'm over here like, Slipknot, how come y'all didn't do this? Or Rammstein. Rammstein, of all people, should do something like this. But yeah, that's basically Right Here, Right Now. Again, I am probably going to put part 2 of the funny moments on my TikTok video. I kept watching the clip. It was too hilarious. And I'm like, bro, there's still so much funny clips on there. But yeah, the film is definitely a must watch. So definitely do check it out while it's still out there. So now that we finally talked about that, let's go ahead and talk about what you may have missed in pop culture, starting with one thing that I have in the movies category, and that is that Sony's Pictures confirmed that a new Uncharted movie is in development. Will the original cast return as well? I'm sure Tom Holland will, so there's that. But keep your eyes open if it does get a movie trailer out. I didn't watch the first one. I barely played the game, so my interest on that is kind of low on that. But anywho, let's go ahead and talk about television. Who remembers the show Totally Spies? I watched it when I was a kid, so there's that. But it has been announced that there is going to be a live action series that will be coming to Prime Video with Will Ferrell producing the series. Hopefully, it won't flop like the live action Powerpuff Girls series. Did you know that it got canceled during production? I mean, it never happened, but thank God, because when I saw the images, I was like, no, thank you. Who knows how this one will be, but I do feel like there will be comedic moments because, I mean, come on, Will Ferrell's there. I got more Yellowstone drama again, yeah. So Kevin Costner confirmed that he will not be returning as John Dutton in the Yellowstone series for the second half of season 5. It is an end of an era if you ask me, but I feel like because of their drama and season 4 was not as exciting like previous episode, it was bound to happen. I mean, you will still be able to see John Dutton on the first half whenever they decide to release it, but other than that, I have no hopes season 5 will be good. I mean, the only thing I can think of is if they do keep pushing it forward, they're gonna have to kill off John Dutton eventually. But will that be good for the rest of the cast? Because if he's leaving, you can only imagine the rest that are having drama with the creator and director, producer, whatever, Taylor Sheridan. I mean, I'll definitely watch it, of course, because I mean, it keeps Cosmo entertained, so yeah. And I'll probably give my thoughts on it eventually when it does get premiered. The last thing I wanted to talk about on television is House of the Dragon. So season 2 already premiered with the first episode, and don't worry, these are spoiler free thoughts, so you don't have to be like, oh my god, she's gonna talk about shit. No. So if you don't remember what happened in the first season, it's okay, because they got you covered with that whole recap. I want you guys, if you do end up checking it out, watch it through Rhaenyra's eyes as a mother, not as a Targaryen, because I think people forget that, you know, royalties also tend to have emotions, not compared to like during the Game of Thrones series where everything is about the throne. And for Rhaenyra, it's completely different. It's not just that, you know, it's mostly because of her kids. So definitely go check it out. It is now available on Max, and the second episode will be premiering tonight as well, so I cannot wait. The next thing I wanted to talk about, it's already on the music category. So if you guys did not know, Slipknot and Ghost will be on the cover of Revolver magazines. There's going to be 2 different covers, so choose wisely. You can actually pre-order the issue at shop.revolvermag.com. I am tempted to, you know, pre-order it, but at the same time, pretty sure it's sold out by now, so I'll check it out. Other thing, and this is kind of irrelevant, the next 2 things I'm going to be talking about is like probably a shocker, but again, I talk about whatever I want on here. So if you guys did not know, Justin Timberlake was arrested for driving while intoxicating. It's a DWI. Some people were like, why didn't you just call it DUI? And I'm like, well, there's a different significance on there. DUI means driving under the influence, and this one he was intoxicated, so there's that. Tell me why, once I heard the news, I started getting Britney Spears memes on my TikTok feed. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? The other thing I also wanted to mention is that, I don't know if you guys know, but Drake Bell released a Spanish song that reminds me of this Hispanic band called Juanes. And on the comment section, people were just calling him Juanes Bell. And I was like, oh my god, I can't with y'all. But yeah, check it out. I mean, his Spanish is like good for the music song. I mean, come on. So yeah, there's that. The next thing, one thing I have in gaming, and I was just talking shit about Call of Duty, but I found out that they're collaborating with Fallout, and I'm like, I just said I'm not gonna deal with that shit anymore, because COD is like a whole different level when it comes to raging in video games. I don't know, I'm tempted to just say, okay, fine, let me check it out. I don't know yet, we'll see. And we're talking like wasteland maps and skins, and I'm like, oh, it looks so badass. It is available right now. They actually released it on the 20th, and I didn't get to check it out because of course I'm too busy watching Ghosts 3 times in a row. Alright, now I need to talk about wrestling. We gotta talk about Uncle Howdy, because I've been rambling about this man for so long, and the moment is finally here. So I mentioned last week's episode that there was a teaser that Uncle Howdy is going to debut on Monday Night Raw, and I was like, oh my god, is it true? Hopefully. And yeah, a lot of people were confirming it, so I'm like, alright, we're gonna have to watch the whole 3 hours of Raw and wait till the end, because I'm pretty sure that's when they will debut. So I find it really sad that Bray Wyatt was still here last year, and then this year his brother is continuing the legacy. Like, this is what I mean, a lot of shit can happen in a span of a year. Now, this is a theory of why, you know, they decided to debut him, you know, on Monday and not like in SummerSlam of all days. So supposedly they say that Bray Wyatt's last match against LA Knight at the Royal Rumble last year actually took place in San Antonio, Texas. And Raw this past Monday was in Corpus, so they just wanted to just keep it in the Texas state, I guess. Possibility. Again, it's just a theory. Now, the introduction had Bray all over it, like the same sounds, the same door from where he last, did his little comeback and whatnot. We see Nikki Cross, changing her character to Sister Abigail, and she's coming out of that door, pointing the cameraman to go backstage, and all of a sudden it was a fucking mess back there. We see security people lying on the floor, and then Eric Rowan is over there as Rambling Rabbit with a hammer that says help, and I'm like, oh god. And then as the cameraman keeps going in, like he goes into Gorilla, it's a mess, cables everywhere, electricity popping like crazy. But Papa H was nowhere to be seen, and Dexter Loomis as Mercy the Buzzer is looking like a snack as always. Yum. Behind the curtain, we see Joe Gacy standing there as maybe Huskus the pig. It threw me off because he was wearing a gas mask. Then the camera kept walking, and you can't help but to notice Chad Gable was just there with blood on his head, and people were like, oh my god, they're committing homicide over here in WWE. Justice for Chad Gable. Now we actually care about Chad Gable after what happened with Uncle Howdy. It's like he's been beefing with Sami Zayn. I mean, you heard me. I was just like, I don't give a shit about, Sami and Chad because it was an ongoing feud. But that man sold a really good promo with the way how he was. People were like, oh my god, is he dead? And then I think Chad posted something either on X or on Instagram, and people were all over the comment section saying, oh my god, you're alive, thank god. So we'll see you on Monday, right? Like, damn, we don't even care about the man's well-being. We're like, okay, you're alive, we'll see you Monday. But anywho, after that, we actually get to see Uncle Howdy coming in, and oh my god, the walk, the way how he came out to the ring, or no, well, not to the ring, to the stage, and you hear the reaction, and you can actually get a glimpse of Taylor Rotunda, or Bo Dallas, however you guys want to call him. He's smiling. He's just like in awe to see what is happening. So it's like a good feedback, basically, like a good acceptance, like, okay, let's go ahead and continue this legacy. And then obviously the show ends with him saying we're here, and then he blows out the lantern. And a little, mini jump scare of Nikki Cross just jumping towards the screen. So we're excited, okay? So I cannot wait to see what's going to happen this coming Monday. It looks like they're going to be officially on Raw, but I am not so sure because I saw a clip on SmackDown. I don't remember if it was Cody, but somebody was walking past the door, and it had, the what they call Wyatt 6 logo now, and I'm saying 6 as in SICK, sick, and supposedly I was like, wait a second, if it's 6 people, who the hell is the 6th member? I was assuming, Brody Lee Jr., the son of John Huber, potentially being the 6th member, but you can also assume it is Bray Wyatt. Even though he's not here, he's there in spirit, so who knows. But again, I'm excited that he is finally back. We can finally say goodbye to the Easter eggs, but now let the mind games begin. And hopefully, now that, Triple H is under control, they're not going to ruin this character. I'm pretty sure Triple H is closely working with Taylor Rotunda to make sure that they don't ruin this character or the legacy of Bray Wyatt. They want to honor him in a good way, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna see so much hell and shit once WWE transfers to Netflix, so I cannot wait. Another comeback that we also had was Seth Rollins. He kicked off Raw and surprised the whole world because, again, if you guys did not know, he had a knee injury. He had surgery, he was in rehab, and it looks like he's back to 100% because he came out there and challenged Damian Priest for the World Heavyweight Championship. So this will be happening at Money in the Bank literally next Saturday. So I'm excited. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled on that one. And then we're also going to be talking about that pay-per-view because once Money in the Bank happens, you don't know how long whoever the wrestler is going to be holding that briefcase. Who could potentially be the challenger? Now, since we're already in that topic, I want to talk about those qualifying wrestlers. And I cannot help see or notice the strategy that Papa H is doing. Why do I say this? Because the people that have been qualifying, on the match is gonna be mid-carders. Like, they're not main eventers. Well, besides Jey Uso. Jey Uso's main event, so. But everybody else that's in the match is like people that are still yet to show off their skills. I'm talking Chelsea Green, Andrade, Carmelo Hayes, and Io Sky. I don't think Io's gonna win this year because she already won Money in the Bank last year. I mean, back-to-back could potentially happen, but I believe with this whole strategy, it might not. So we got less than 2 weeks to go to see who's gonna be the next person to start terrorizing the next coming champion. So I can't wait to see it. Now, I wanted to talk about NXT really quick because there was a battle royal to determine the next #1 contender for the NXT champion to go up against Trick Williams. And I did not know NXT was going to kick off with this. I thought it was going to be like at the very end, main event time. But no, they just went ahead and started. There were so many people in the ring already. And then they were just announcing a few more wrestlers afterwards. One in particular though, and it popped the crap out of the whole arena until the song started playing. Say his name and he'll appear. And people were like, oh my God. I was like, what's going on? I don't watch TNA, just so y'all know. So I didn't know what was going on until I saw this guy by the name of Joe Hendry. And people are going to be like, really, Lielers? You don't know who Joe Hendry is? No, I did not know because, again, #1, I don't watch TNA. #2, he wasn't that memeable enough for me to see him on my TikTok feed. Now I see him. Now he has become a meme to the point where now I have his song stuck in my head. Hell, I fucking remixed it for Cosmo's sake, you know. Sometimes I'll be like, say her name and she'll appear. I believe in the babies. Yeah, so that's me though. But yeah, so Joe Hendry is now a sensation and a big fan favorite for NXT. So maybe potentially we might still see him on NXT. So there's this weird collab again between WWE and TNA. So from what I'm seeing is that potentially TNA wrestlers can come to NXT. We already saw Joe Hendry. We already saw Jordan Grace. And then another person they didn't announce, but he was also in the Battle Royale, was Frankie Kazarian. So if you guys do not remember him, he was in AEW. He was also in a group with SoCal that consisted of Christopher Daniels and Scorpio Sky, which we haven't seen them in a while. But hopefully they're doing good things backstage. But yeah, I was not expecting him, but he was just like hiding in the back. But we still managed to see him compete, so good job on that. Joe Hendry though, even though he was a sensation, he was like the first one to get eliminated. So, but I'm hoping again I get to see more of him because again everybody's waiting for him to come back on NXT. Now we're gonna slowly wrap it up because I gotta talk about SmackDown really quick. So if you guys did not catch this past Friday's episode, Jacob Fatu has arrived at WWE. Is it possible that the Bloodline War is really happening and potentially leading up to a War Games match? Now, I talked about this a few episodes ago that there was a theory that I saw on TikTok about somebody saying that there could possibly be a Bloodline War between The Rock and Roman. Now, I'm not sure if confirmed The Rock might possibly come back and join this war. But what it looks like is that it's going to be between Solo and Roman. And the reason why we say this is because Solo already told Paul Heyman that Roman Reigns is not coming back. And because of Jacob Fatu's new alliance towards the new bloodline, it looks like there's a little faction going on that Roman Reigns might not like. And with that, it might lead up to Roman coming back, hopefully from vacation. Hopefully nothing's wrong with him, you know. And just go ahead and do this little feud between, you know, Solo and Roman. And alongside with Roman could potentially be the Usos, you know, maybe a little mini reunion and whatnot. But who could be the other fourth member? And people are saying it could be another Fatu brother. I don't know really the whole family tree. I looked it up and I'm like, I cannot find the other Fatu brother. Like, I don't know which one they were talking about. But still, rumor also has it that Roman Reigns will come back either on Money in the Bank or SummerSlam. I have a feeling it might be until SummerSlam. Even though like Solo looks like he's gonna go up against Cody and Roman could potentially cost the match. And it's like, homeboy, you're not taking this title, you know, it came from me and I'm gonna take it back. But first, let me, you know, deal with some business with you. I don't know, but if this whole feud does happen, it will feed families for centuries. Literally, it's gonna be so interesting. Now, with that being said, that wraps up with SmackDown. I forgot one more thing and then I'll wrap it up. So I don't know if you guys know, but guess who decided to pay a visit to Mexico City at CMLL? It had to be none other than Mercedes Moné. That's right. So she made a surprise appearance just to taunt Stephanie Becker. Because remember, Forbidden Door is already around the corner. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be watching it because that's the sucky thing about pay-per-view. It's expensive. So there's that. So she came out and, you know, she did speak a little Spanish here and there. But she cut a promo, you know, a little Spanish here and there. And basically hyping the crowd for Forbidden Door. Now, what I love about Stephanie is because, of course, they're in Mexico City. She literally just told Mercedes, just like, hey, if you're here, you're in my ring. Here, we speak Spanish. And yeah, she was basically giving a better promo than Mercedes, if you ask me. But yeah, I'm really happy for them two going up against each other because they have gone against each other before. But it also shows that Mercedes does need to come and pick herself back up and kill this whole like, oh, she cannot defend a title successfully. Hopefully she proves the haters wrong. I'm one of them. I will admit it. Why? Because again, I have no hopes. But at the same time, given the fact that I don't think AEW is going to let Mercedes just give up the TBS championship to Stephanie Becker, it's going to obviously lead up to Mercedes winning the two belts. So Forbidden Door is actually going to be next week on June 30th. So if you guys are planning to watch it, make sure y'all check out where y'all can purchase the pay-per-view event. And with that being said, that wraps up this week's episode. I know I didn't have much for pop culture, but it was still enough. Of course, I had to talk about Ghost. That's like one of my favorite things now. Because of course it is one of my top 4 favorite bands. So yeah, and if you guys don't remember the list, is Slipknot, Rammstein, Ghost, and Slaughter to Prevail. Hey, speaking of Slaughter to Prevail, I was looking up something on my phone really quick while I was, you know, recording the podcast episode, and the first thing that shows up on my Instagram feed, of course I'm not surprised, is a video from Alex Terrible. And so they were actually performing at Grass Pop Metal, and it's actually been happening since the 20th. I think today's the last day. And I already saw a video of Alex moshing with the crowd. I'm like, holy shit, no one has done that. And he don't care. He's like separating the whole crowd like if he was Moses. And then everybody started like going towards each other, and I lost Alex for a second, and then next thing you know, they're trying to get him out of the crowd. But it was amazing, right? I even commented on his video and I just said this man can create earthquakes if he wanted to. But the first thing I saw right now on my Instagram feed was a video of him checking up on an injured fan. Apparently he said that they had to stop the show 2 times because people were getting injured, and one of them was actually being carried by an ambulance, and Alex met up with the fan, and I'm like, this man, oh my god. And he's over there like talking to the fan, and next thing you know, get a selfie and whatnot. And one person put on the comments like, that's probably like the most brutal thing you could ever do. That and then he's talking about the fan, like, you know, getting to see a concert, getting injured during Slaughter Prevail, only for you to get a picture or a selfie with the lead singer, Alex Terrible. And then Alex put on the captions like, oh, if you see this man, if you know this man, tag him, let him know to DM his manager so that way the fan can get a free mask. And I'm like, damn, this man, I love this man, I swear. But yeah, shout out to Alex Terrible. You're such a hunk, I love you. But anywho, yeah, make sure to follow my social media accounts at It's Lielers on Instagram, Threads, and X, and subscribe to my YouTube channel at It's Lielers. And also do not forget to follow me on my TikTok at Lielers. Lielers on TikTok. I swear my TikTok is still blowing up because I posted 2 videos. One of them is going a little bit nuts. It's basically the speech that I have of Papa, and then the other one is the funny videos moment. But yeah, definitely go check out my TikTok, of course. And then I wanted to make a quick announcement. Next week, you guys are gonna see me very different. Dun, dun, dun. It's still a secret, but again, if you do follow my social media, I did posted a story on Instagram about what is going to happen. And if you guys do not follow it, well, you missed out because it already expired already. But yeah, I'm really excited. I did mention it, I think on last episode or the episode before, that there's a big change happening to me. And no, I'm not gonna get plastic surgery because fuck that. But you guys will see it. I can't wait to show it off next week, so I'm excited. But so yeah, definitely go follow my social media accounts. But yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy this episode. Of course, you already know that I did. Next week, we're gonna be talking about more things that has happened in pop culture. I know I didn't mention Corey Taylor, and I just realized that. I talked about it last week, and now that I think about it, I'm like, yeah, we're probably gonna have to get into depth with what's happening with Corey Taylor. If you guys do not know what I'm talking about, listen to last week's episode so that way y'all stay up to track, and then go see what Corey Taylor's doing right now. You're gonna kind of figure what I'm gonna talk about next week. So yeah, that does it for me, and as always, I will talk to you guys on the next one.